everyone was telling me, what are you going to do without health insurance? And I was like, why is like everyone's worry health insurance and not my happiness? And if I'm miserable and stressed out my whole life, like, yeah, I'm really going to have to lean on that health insurance. But like, one, there's other ways to get around health insurance. And two, like, if I'm happy, maybe I won't be having like so much illness in my life one day, you know?
Welcome to the Conscious Leadership Podcast, where soulful entrepreneurship and holistic mind-body wellness meet to help you heal, discover your soul's purpose, and change the world. I'm your host, Gabby Ortega, entrepreneur, psychology expert, social media maven, and soulful leadership coach. And it's my mission to empower you into becoming the light leader you're meant to be. Each episode will be diving deep into topics that will help you gain personal mastery over your healing and mind-body wellness, while also giving you practical tips and tools to help you create, market, and scale a heart-centered business around your soul's purpose and life mission. Whether you're in the beginning of your self-awakening journey or a seasoned inner work god or goddess who's ready to step into their leadership as a soulpreneur, this is going to be your new favorite place to be. We know that you don't just want to feel happier and more fulfilled, but you want to deeply know yourself and powerfully step into your life's purpose while creating massive abundance around your mission. That's why I've created this podcast for you, the light leader of the next generation. Welcome home. I'm so glad you're here.
So for those of you who don't know, Ali and I met a while ago, and she was a follower and someone who also was on a self-healing journey. We had just like an amazing connection. And after she went through Ignite, I was like, yo, is this weird? Like, do you want to join our family?
And I was like, this is my dream come true.
Literally, I was like, are you sure? Like, because we're a bunch of like nerds. And she was like, yes. So I'm so excited that you're part of our coaching team. Ali is going to be supporting you all who are joining Ignite, who are starting your businesses and getting out there on social media and trying to heal the world. So maybe just like introduce yourself a little bit for people who don't know much about you, maybe a little bit about your story, and then we'll just like jump into any questions, or if you guys need any support, let us know in the comments.
Cool. So my name's Ali Ringer. I am the founder of Recov.Her.y Life Coaching, and I have been coaching women breaking through their toxic cycles, whether that be relationships, codependency, limiting beliefs, any blocks holding them back, a lot of business stuff, which has been really cool, and just basically helping them launch into their most powerful and aligned versions of themselves. And kind of like Gabby said, I've only been in this healing realm in the coach sense for the last 8 months. So really just this year, but it's been an incredible journey, and I feel so lucky to be doing what I'm doing when I'm doing it in 2021. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. Kind of going back though, Gabby, to like when we met, I just think that's a fun story. So if you're cool with it, I feel like
yeah, you should totally share it. It's really one of those things, like the internet is a wacky place, man.
Yeah. So I was a follower of Gabby's, and she, would you say partnered? What's the technical term? She worked,
I think we like collabed.
There you go. She worked with Ember and Solace Retreats, and they were doing a scholarship giveaway for a creative entrepreneur for their retreat. And I was like, I don't know if I'm a creative entrepreneur, but I write about my trauma because I had, like Gabby said, been on a self-healing journey from a toxic and abusive relationship. And through getting myself out of that, I knew that I wanted to be able to support other women in their own healing. So I wrote in the beginning to hopefully get my story out to support other women. So at the time, that was the only way I was trying to heal the world. And so I left a caption on this giveaway basically saying that that's what I'm doing, but I would love to do more, and I don't know what that is, which is like so full circle now that I am a coach and working with Gabby. But I was chosen for that retreat, and Gabby went to the retreat to do a little like healing circle.
Yeah, like
to do that, but like it literally turned into a healing circle. Everyone was like,
it was so unexpected. I was like, oh my God, wow. I mean, everybody was so open. It was like an incredible experience.
It was a group coaching session essentially. But it was great. And I bawled my eyes out and told Gabby, like, I want to be a coach. And she was like, then do it. Then be a coach.
Literally, I was like, just go try it.
Start. And so from there, that was how I literally went home and started recovery. So yeah, I just think
inspiring. I love hearing the story. Like, even though I know it.
Now, like, knowing that, like, I get to work with you as a coach under you, I'm like, who would have thought, you know, in that moment that I left that comment on Instagram.
Like it all starts with one little small step towards taking action towards your dreams. And like, I cried because I think like we joke around, like her, me and Amber and like Janine, who's on our team too. And like, we're like, I think we all like made soul contracts with each other and like came down like knowing we were going to find each other, because when I met you, it was like, I was like, I had known you for such a long time. Same with Amber, and same with Janine. And like, you know, it's really special how this stuff happens. But I think it kind of brings around a point that I've been thinking about a lot and actually popped into my head, which is that every moment, like of every day, we are, without acknowledging it or not, with acknowledging it or not, we're making decisions or choices. Not making a choice, not making a decision is a decision.
Really?
So choosing to like comment on that giveaway, to take action, even if it was like a small thing, just set off this like whole thing of a chain of events that now you're like a successful like coach, like with your own business, you're working for own, you're like, you quit your 9-to-5, like you were working like insane hours as a therapist, and just like now you get to like live on your terms. But like, what advice I think for people who are right in those beginning stages might you have for people who are like, you know, scared or in their fear, or like you guys, I know if you're watching this, you know that there's something you're being called to and that you feel like there's a greater purpose for you on this planet, and you're like, what the fuck do I do?
Totally. Yeah. I think what a big game changer was for me, and leaving that comment was my first like aligned action towards this, was I told myself I was going to stop saying no to things. And I was saying yes to opportunities, because I, you know, in my like, at that point in my 20s, I could look back and see so many opportunities that I said no to based out of just
many, like me too. And it's so frustrating.
And those limiting beliefs and those toxic cycles, right? Like we hold ourselves back so much. So I was like, if I just start saying yes to things, opportunities, because right, kind of like you said, the same way we make choices every day, we have opportunities pop up every single day. And so we have
the opportunity is a choice.
Right. Totally. Yep. And so
you can't complain at the end of the day if you're not getting what you want, because you are literally choosing to not do things.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And we have to step out of like our comfort zone to some extent, right? So like I was such a comfort zone person, and that's still something that like I work on to this day, because that's my own like control and safety issues. But I was like, if I say no my entire life, I'm going to look back and like be really sad. Like it's going to be a really sad legacy.
Really sad. Yeah.
So saying yes, and like even going to that retreat when like limiting beliefs, right? Like I'm not a creative entrepreneur. Like entrepreneur, like what? Like I did not consider myself that whatsoever. And it was scary to go into a space of women who, you know, called themselves entrepreneurs. But honestly, by putting myself even in that circle, by meeting you, by meeting other people there, by being inspired, I went home and I was like, I can be an entrepreneur too. And sometimes
everybody can be an entrepreneur. It's just like, if you have a good idea, if you really want to do something and like affect change in the world, then there's a space for you.
Right. And I think you just have to like I do this with clients, and like start calling yourself a coach. If you want to be a coach, start calling yourself an entrepreneur. If you want to be an entrepreneur, because every single time you think I want that, and then you tell yourself I'm not that, like you're never going to get there. Like just start embodying what you want to be. And then as soon as you know it, you're like, shit.
And it feels weird too, because like you're going to feel like you're stepping into like shoes that don't fit. Like they're way too big. You're like the kid in the adult size shoes, and you're like, okay, like I'm just gonna own this. And like it does feel like that at first. And
Yeah.
that's okay. And it doesn't mean that that's not for you. It just means it's new and it's a little scary, and it feels like you're stepping into something really big and important and powerful, and you may not know how it's going to end or what, like, how it's all going to unfold, or like, you know, have control over all of it. And if you just take it like one small step at a time every single day, just like focusing not on the mountain, but on the 2 or 3 steps right in front of you, you will 8 months later look back and go, oh shit, I quit my 9-to-5 job. I have like, I mean, you just had like a 5-figure launch. Like, someone just today like paid in full for your amazing package that you have for your thing, just with ease and flow and ideal clients. You're like living life on your terms. And it's just like, hell yeah, like we can all have that. So it's just about choosing.
Yeah. And I think too, like, as it unfolds, like more comes, you know? So like it went from a single opportunity to apply for a scholarship, even though I felt like I'm not that, to like the point of getting to work with you. And once again, that limiting belief could have popped up, like haven't been doing this long enough, or whatever limiting belief could have occurred. And instead of like feeding into that and like, that's exciting. That's going to keep leveling me up in a way that feels really aligned for me. So I'm going to say, yes. Yeah. And hell yeah. And like, again, starting to say hell yeah, like literally my life 1 year ago to my life today is
monumental.
It's just like, I can't believe it's only been a year. Like, I'm like, how is this not 5 years? But it's just by taking aligned steps towards the future that I want. I get.
Yeah, I like every single day, that aligned choice, that aligned action, one step at a time, one decision at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. You're going to make mistakes, and like, I would so much rather make mistakes trying to do what I want to do versus making mistakes just being a part of something that I'm not, a system or a 9-to-5 or a whatever that doesn't speak to me. Perfect timing said, find your zen. I'm so glad this is perfect timing. Madeline, telling yourself yes. Curvy Ginger, what's up, girl? She's like, you two are my people. You're my people. No, yeah. And so I think it's really important, you guys, that also we talk about like and address kind of the elephant in the room, which is like a lot of what I thought about entrepreneurs and coaching and like stepping into the space of being able to quit your 9-to-5 job was like, yeah, privilege. Like, you must have money to be able to do this. You must have like somebody funding your entrepreneurial dreams. And I was like, no. Like, my mom was like doing what she could to help me in whatever way, but no, like, I literally, you can start, and this is how I did it. I was working my 9-to-5, interning full-time, going to school full-time to be a therapist, like dealing with all this shit. Super overwhelmed, didn't have money to spend on a coach or a course or a program or whatever. But I knew I had an idea and I wanted to make it happen. So I followed on Instagram the coaches that I really admired. I looked up people, I checked them out, I followed them, I took whatever freebies they were giving. I was like, I still am on like 100 freaking email lists where I'm like taking their free downloads and taking their podcast episodes and listening and implementing. I built my business like intuitively and using free resources. Like, I got my first clients just using people's small ticket or free resources, and you can do that too. YouTube is obviously, if you haven't been on there, it is like getting a free education. You can YouTube like any kind of video that you need to figure out how to do, setting up Dubsado or client, management systems, learning how to do Instagram, learning how to do Canva graphics. You can teach yourself these things if you just go online. Like, there's so many resources. So you do not have to have a ton of seed capital to start your business. You don't have to have investors. You don't have to have a ton of money. I started my business with zero overhead, other than I think Canva is $9.99 a month.
Totally. I just had this conversation recently with another new coach who unfortunately got into the hands of like a coach who was telling her that she had to have all these things before she even...
I get physically uncomfortable when I hear these.
That's how I was talking to her. I was like, that song that's like, oh no. I was like, talking to her, I just felt bad, because I was like, you don't need all of that. I mean, great that you have Dubsado, and all these programming stuff set up and Kajabi and all this stuff. But I'm like, until you have a one-to-one client and have a base, that's when you can launch to have everything, And again, I think trying that small step, right? start showing up on Instagram as a coach, start calling yourself a coach, start like embodying that on your stories. Like little steps in the beginning are going to help with that mindset shift. And then that's going to change your energy. And then you're going to get people DMing you and being like, I want to hire you. And that's going to feel weird and scary and new. But when
you're going to be like, why?
Right. When you have that, then like you can launch the rest and you're like, oh, I'm going to have someone paying me. Okay. Yeah. Let me get on like all the systems and the bigger, but you don't have to start there. It can start with like
pay for ads. You don't have to get like $1,000 photo shoot. You don't have to have like amazing hair and like I don't even know, like rent an Airbnb to take your photos. Oh, you're so welcome, Linda. You're a queen too. And yes, the curvy ginger not having the time is not an excuse. Yeah, it's like I squeeze it in wherever you can, but you don't have to have all of these fancy things. Google Sheets. Like Google Drive is like free. I did all of my like client management shit on Google Drive.
That's still me. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So you don't need to have all the fancy things. And I also really want to like, there's nothing I can stress more, you guys, than like, do not work with someone who's like, you're brand new and you're going to sell everything through funnels and paid ads. Like that, like it's going to be easy. Like we're just going to, and they're going to make you spend $10,000 on ads and you're not going to get one client. This has happened to multiple people we've worked with, by the way. And it's so upsetting and sad because then they feel like it's them. It's not. You don't have to do that.
And I'm like, it's not you. It's the system you were lied to about, essentially. It's really like, this coach was like thinking she had to launch with a group. And I'm like, until you've done what, like, let's build, like a base. And then you'll even know, like, what's your group about? Like, do you even know that? Until you have some like success. But I think like, again, we look at other coaches, there's a comparison where like they're running groups, they're doing all these giant things, but just starting with like what's going to help you get confident as a coach, embody that. Because even when I started Ignite, I felt like I was like, I'm a coach, but even what I was charging was like laughable, and like.
But at least you were charging something. And I will say, even like $1 is better than giving free coaching.
That is true. But like, even like then I think that was like a confidence thing. Like I still felt like I wasn't like a coach enough, like whatever that means in my head to charge X, Y, and Z or to do these things. And like that again was confidence. And I had to, obviously have you and other people in my container being like, you can do this and like cheering me on until it just like took off.
It's a mental game. A lot of what we teach in Ignite and what we work on, we do like a parallel processing. So while we build your business and we give you all the fundamentals from like scratch to just like walk you through the process, we also are really looking at all of the different mindset and wounding and trauma things that come up and parallel processing all of the psychology, all of the stuff that goes like that when you start to challenge yourself and step into stuff that's unfamiliar and scary and seems really big and vulnerable. And like what we've learned is that the biggest, hardest thing to do is that part of it. It's not actually the business building stuff. It's like you can make a post, like you can do a reel,
right?
You can close a sale, you can get great clients. Like that is actually formulaic and pretty easy. But to show up and be able to do that, it's everything else that's inside that's happening that's keeping you there. The inner critic, the paralysis, the perfectionism, the like comparison trap that you're talking about. And that's what will bring you down in your first 2 years of business, which are the fundamental building years of your business. The first 2 years, 2 to 5 years are the hardest. So get yourself in a container. If it's not Ignite, fine, cool. Like please, but please get support because it's everything, the mindset and all of that.
It really is. It's so true. And I think like, again, that all goes back to that, like, if you're not building that confidence, you don't have that mindset, like you don't even show up and you don't realize it. We just like shut ourselves down. We block ourselves off like from the world, and your ideal clients, especially coming in as a coach, they don't get that energy from you that they need to trust you, be excited about you, to want to sign on. And so I think sometimes people do it backwards where they're like, I've done the post, I've said I'm coaching, but they still feel all those limiting beliefs. And it's like, yes, but that's like seeping out through everything And, you know, and I think that's why that parallel process is so important.
It unlocks like so much.
And no one's gonna like, sounds bad, but no one's gonna want to hire you anyways, you know, because they can like see that. Like they have to see that you can hold the space, that you have the confidence, that you can cheer them on. Everything that we all need in a coach, essentially. And once you're able, like you already have that in you. So it's just, you wouldn't be a healer, you know, in this space if you didn't. So once you're able to just like show up as that, it's amazing how much it flows. I mean, I'm always texting you like, LOL at the universe, because you told me this would all happen. And as it happens, I'm like, this is funny. Like how
I still think it's funny too. I've been getting more vulnerable because I've been going through some stuff and I just like, I kind of shut down, I think, for a little bit as I was really feeling my things. And I kind of backed away, you know, for a couple of weeks. And I was saying late June and July, and you guys can probably feel me pull away as well. And you know, and then coming back and then being like, yeah, like I'm here we go. And then feeling like, you know, I'm getting vulnerable and then the response is just overwhelmingly supportive and it just cracks people open and you connect. And, but to do that work, to be able to like, not even like, it's not even that I feel safe doing it, because I don't think you can ever feel safe putting yourself on a stage in front of a million strangers plus and just be like, here are my wounds, you know? But at least you get comfortable with yourself in a way that's like, well, you know, like I'm cool with however this goes. Yeah. And that feels really good.
Well, and I think that's so important too with like, you know, like we've talked about, like I have a relatively small following still, and it's definitely like building, but it's relatively small. So I can get very like into like numbers, ironically, because it's still small. But like if I post something and one person, I notice the number goes down, you know, this could literally be a bot. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I post that like someone hated, you know? And I think learning to work through that. And I've definitely gotten way better at it, but I used to like post and then like check constantly. And like, if something wasn't performing well, that voice in my head would be like, not good enough, you know, or whatever that voice is. And I think it's like learning the skill and again, doing the mindset work to be like, my ideal clients are out there. My ideal clients will be attracted to this. If someone's not attracted to this, like I can release that and let that go and just like go with the flow of it instead of, I don't even know what to call it, the like getting so wrapped into the vanity metrics and all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something to remember, you guys. Like, it's Ali has under 1,000 followers, and she just had an insane 5-figure launch. Like,
yeah.
You guys, like, you don't have to have even 1,000 followers to make a lot of money and serve clients and create a community and do these things. Like, you could have 50 people. You don't need 50 clients. You know what I mean? Like, you're
not 50 clients. Like, you don't want that many. So
yeah, exactly. No, this is really, I love that we're talking about this because I just want to like kind of shed some light on the fact that like this is all work to put this stuff together. You know, like when you're trying to build a community, when you're showing up for your business and you're trying to get things off the ground, it can feel really confusing. 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, all these things happening. And that's normal. And like, we want to normalize that it's hard to do this. And if anybody you work with or anybody you're looking at is like, I'm going to build your business so easy, build it so easy, overnight, 6 figures in 6 days, that fucking bullshit that people sell, it is not going to work. You're not going to like it. It's going to feel forced and you're going to feel weird about it. Like, that's not a healthy way of approaching any of this stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing more vulnerable, in my opinion, than starting a business, especially the kind of start. Absolutely nothing more vulnerable. And so, you know, like I always tell people too, like you have to make sure it's feeling heart aligned, like every step that you're taking. And that doesn't mean that it always feels comfortable. It's still going to be out of your comfort zone. But if you have that like pit in your stomach feeling that you're like absolutely not in whatever like business advice that anyone's giving you or coaching advice, like don't do it. Like just because it's worked maybe for them, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Like you really have to be able, and that's the inner work, right, to tune in to what's going to feel right for you and your business and how you're going to run things. And that's where you get that flow. That's where clients just start showing like, I
learned from
a launch for my last one. Like I essentially filled up before a launch came and I was like, this was too easy, but also like, that's the universe, right? Like I was just such an alignment, and I had quit my 9 to 5, and I was like, I'm going to just clear out everything that's blocking me. And a lot of this was just stuff that I was doing internally. And all of a sudden, like, everyone appeared. All my ideal clients appeared.
It's like it's like you feel like they came out of nowhere, but really what that is like intention shifts timelines. Like, to get real, quantum physics with you guys, intention shifts timelines. And when you set the intention of this is what is going to happen and this is what I'm going to do, which you didn't at first, like most of us, because we're all afraid and we're like, well, if it happens, and that would be great. No, I'm setting the intention of filling up my practice, of having ideal clients, of being in this reality, of the reality I'm creating. And when you quantum leap into that lived reality by stepping into the shoes before you even have it happen, you're setting off through intention a chain of reaction, a chain of events to happen that are going to react to help you get to where you need to go. And then it's all about then inviting in, watching your intuition and watching your body signals. And like you said, when you're working with client or coaches and with mentors, taking what feels aligned and what works, even if they're pushing their agenda and pushing their techniques on you, if it doesn't feel right for you, do not ignore that feeling and trust that you do have within you the answers that you need. But sometimes we need to hear it said by someone else, and then you'll just go, oh yeah, that's aligned. So everything else, throw away. And when you can create something that's so heart aligned with who you are and what you need and then how you want to show up in the world, it just becomes so beautifully wrapped up with your lived experience that it just feels great. It feels really, really good.
Yeah, it's so, so true. And I think, like, it is important to note that, like, it is a little bit of a roller coaster, like that.
Like, you'll have meltdowns. It's going to be messy.
I'll cry on the Ignite calls, like, every other week. I was, like, crying, but in, like, the best way, because it was, like, the safe space where, like, building a business is hard, especially
it's so hard
by yourself, in the beginning stages. And so when I get into that container of that safe space, and, like, everyone's building their businesses too, I'm like, all right, these are my people. This is where I get to cry. And they're not like, why are you complaining? They're all like, I know, it is so hard. And it was such a safe space to do it. And also, like, to, like, be lifted back up, hey, you got this. It's gonna pass. You're gonna get through it. You're gonna show up again tomorrow when you feel more confident. And I really don't think, like, my timeline personally was like, I want to quit my job by, like, October, November.
Yeah.
And July.
Yeah, it happened pretty fast. No, but that's such
way fast.
Yeah.
I feel like it was really because if I would have been doing it, like, completely by myself, I still think I would have gotten there. It just would have been so much more painful, and it would not have been as fast, and I would have struggled for so much longer by myself. And, like, now knowing the journey I was on of, like, having the support system and, like, the other, like, girls in the group and, like, coaches to lean on, like, I'm just like, how does anyone do this by themselves?
I literally, I did it by myself, and it was like, my mom knows, she's watching. I just saw her join. I don't know if she's still watching. My mom joins all my lives. She's amazing.
I love it.
Shout out to you, Mom.
Love it.
But she literally would hear me cry in my car with, like, my sad Tupperware salad that I got from, like, the dollar store because I couldn't afford to, like, go out to lunch or do anything fancy with, like, school and my 9 to 5 and things like that. And I'd sit in my sad cold salad lunch in my 9 to 5 parking lot, crying to my mom on the phone, going, like, no one's commenting back. Yep. No one's interacting with my post. No one cares. No one wants to hear what I have to say. And my mom just, like, very patiently listening to me and just, like, letting me feel my feelings, and her just being like, just try one more day. Just one more day. Just keep, you're going to be okay. And, like, she was my coach. Totally. Until I actually got a container and realized that the, like, magnitude of the support and the kind of, like, vortex of energy that happens in these containers with groups of people doing the same thing. So shout out to Chris too, the Coffee Warlock. You are a meltdown king. That's her amazing partner. Hi Chris, we love you.
Funny story there is one time I was crying on the couch, and this was, like, night call was 3 days away, so I had to cry to Chris, my partner, beforehand. And I probably spent 2 hours crying on the couch about how I'd never, like, I was like, what if I never get a client ever again? Like, that kind of meltdown, and, like, full existential crisis going on, and I had my phone on silent, and when I looked back at my phone, I had like 2 DMs for discovery calls, and someone I knew had texted me and been like, hey, are you taking clients? Because I have like someone I want to recommend. And I was like,
just put it out there, guys. Just put it out into the universe and see what happens. Hey, Alexis, what's up? Yeah, so this has been awesome. I am trying to keep these from going too overtime because I can talk for like 6 hours.
For sure.
But if you guys have any like questions or concerns, if you're starting like your journey, if you're feeling like you're crazy and everybody around you is like, I bet you've told some people and they're like, that's not a good idea. You shouldn't start your own business. That's risky. Let me just tell you something. The biggest risk you can take is like not believing in yourself, because this shit is not that hard. I'm not like, it's hard mindset wise to like do that. But once you show up, it's like, it flows. And once people find you, they find you and they want to work with you, and it's going to be really amazing. But you have to kind of get over that hump of like, you know, everybody in society, programming, and people who don't understand telling you that it's not going to work, because it will work and there's no reason it shouldn't work. And in my opinion, I would much rather be in full control over my ability to create financial stability for myself rather than working for someone else who I don't know at any given time if they're going to decide they don't want me anymore. You know what I mean? And then I'm out of luck, and then I have to go find somebody else. Like, no, it's actually way easier to do it this way versus being beholden to this system that just doesn't support us, you know?
Totally agree. Everyone was telling me, what are you going to do without health insurance? And I was like, why is like everyone's worry health insurance and not my happiness? And if I'm miserable and stressed out my whole life, like, yeah, I'm really going to have to lean on that health insurance. But like, one, there's other ways to get around health insurance. And two, like, if I'm happy, maybe I won't be having like so much illness in my life one day, you know?
Like exactly. We're asking all the wrong questions, all the wrong questions.
Yeah. And like, it's just, that's like what I always go back to. And people are like, well, like security, you know? And I'm like, yeah, but like, we've kind of been sold a lie on what security is. And like, if we really step into our own power, our own health, our own happiness, that's so much more security than a 9-to-5.
With like a 2% pay raise, which is not a fucking raise. So it's not a raise, you guys. Like 3% is 5%. That's not for like, what?
My 9-to-5, sometimes I didn't get paid on time or as I should. So it's not as secure always as what we think it is anyways.
I just cannot calculate. Yes. Well, you guys, like, listen, we're in a really precarious position right now. The world is like not doing well. We need healers out there more than ever before, and like the economy is crazy, right? Like Delta, we don't know what's happening with that. I don't even know what's happening with that, but I see a lot of things shutting down. I see things going back to being people going back home, offices shutting down. You guys, during the pandemic, everybody we worked with was able to make money. During 2020, everyone who went through Ignite, who didn't have a job, who didn't know what they were going to do financially, they created businesses that helped them get through one of the hardest years, if not the hardest year that we have collectively gone through like in a long time. So, you know, this is something I want you to consider. Things are not getting better overnight. We don't know what's going to happen, but if you are in control of your ability to call in clients using the digital technological space, you don't have to be physically present to see them. And you can actually really help people who need you so badly and reach people far and wide this way. Why wouldn't you want to? You know, because in my opinion, that is going to be something that changes your life and is going to help other people. And it's going to help the world. And you don't have to be beholden again to like, you know, working for someone else in a time where things are just, we don't know what's going to happen.
Totally. And then you get to hang out with me and Gabby and Amber. And you're going to... excited. So there's a bunch of bonuses on top of that.
Yes, no, exactly. So if you guys are interested or if you have any questions, Ignite 5.0 starts September 1st. It's a 6-month-long journey. We're going to teach you every single thing you need to know to start your business, from branding design to website design to figuring out your mission, who's your ideal client, how to do social media in an ethical and aligned way, how to work with your own energetics and feminine cyclical energy cycles, how to work through all of the psychology and trauma and healing shit that comes up during this. We will help you battle that inner critic. We're We're going to get rid of the perfectionism. We're going to help you really step into your leadership and your power and your truth. And that is going to magnetize you, and you're going to attract just an amazing community of soulmate clients. So that starts September 1st. We'd love to see you. You can hit the link in bio to apply. You can check out the page, the sales page as well. It has all the breakdown of everything you're going to learn. We have a crap ton of guest coaches, who I like to call our little adjunct faculty, who specialize in all different areas, who are here to support you as well. Lots of workshops, and like you said, lots of sharing and crying and growth and support. And everybody who comes into these containers, we really make sure they're the real deal. They're really, really good healers. They are aligned. They are doing their own work. And it's a safe, trauma-informed space to really just be and find yourself and grow something that's going to change the world. And we have a retreat, and you get to hang out with us for 4 whole days. So,
hopefully, anyone watching this in there. I'm so pumped.
I'm so excited. Okay, guys, well, thank you so much for being with us today, Ali, and just taking the time. I know I've been running around like a maniac today.
I was glad.
And any last encouraging words you want to leave with our audience?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like something that always sticks to me is just do the damn thing. I know investing in yourself feels hard, starting a business feels hard, saying yes feels hard, but that single yes could change the rest of your life. So do it.
It did for me, it did for you, and just say yes.
And it's just I would never go back on that decision, and someone could not pay me enough money to ever have said no and stay in that life I was living before. So hope that encourages one of you.
Oh my God, I love that. I'm sure it does. Well, thanks, Ali, and I will be over to come visit you soon and get some coffee and tell Chris I said hi. Big hug.
Give my little baby puppy nieces for me, because I can't see them.
Oh my God, I will. They're napping right now, but as soon as they get up, I'll mush them for you.
Please. Okay, sounds good. See you later.
Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.
And that's our episode for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us at the Conscious Leadership Podcast. I'm so excited. This next year, 2021, is going to be huge. We have so many guests that are coming on that you're going to love. I'm going to be doing some more solo casts and Om Therapy coaching. We have so many things rolling out for you. Retreats, another round of Ignite starting in May, another one starting at the end of the summer, a mastermind, and so many other things. So be sure to stay tuned with us on Instagram. Follow me at om_therapy_coaching, and stay tuned for so much goodness coming up. As always, I would love to hear your feedback. Head over to iTunes and leave us a review, and I would love to give you a free copy of my subconscious reprogramming workbook, and that is absolutely free. Just send me a screenshot of your review and on Instagram, and I will be so happy to send that over as my gift for you. And I am sending you so many hugs, so much love, and I hope that this week you are able to find just a little bit more joy in your life. Have a good one, guys.